Ethereum versus Bitcoin is flashing a major buy signal exactly before we are about to see a major week coming in for crypto. So that's exactly what we need to discuss within today's update video, because it's going to be an absolutely massive week and I do think we are about to see a lot of price action. So first of all guys, but we will discuss a lot more than only that. We will take a deep dive into what's the most important Bitcoin charts, we will take a dive into what's the latest news in the market here, and of course we'll take a dive into what's Ethereum and a little bit of altcoins. So from there guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive into what's the most important content. Since we have a huge buy signal flashing for Ethereum versus Bitcoin here, and this is a major golden cross on the Bitcoin chart where the moving average 50 is crossing the moving average 200 from the downside to the upside, and the last 4 times we saw this signal playing out for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, 3 of those 4 times we saw major rallies towards the top side. So I do think a major bullish period for Ethereum is coming in now. I do think the next 3 to 4 months are going to be absolutely insane for Ethereum, and I do think this could be starting much sooner than people think, and I do think it has already started, because if we take a look into the monthly returns for Ethereum here, we see that July was an absolutely insane month, but August is usually not a very bullish month for Ethereum. But then if you're going to take a deeper look into the chart, if you take a look into the post halving years, we can actually see that this is a major bullish month for Ethereum. So I do think from here Ethereum is going to heavily outperform Bitcoin, definitely on that monthly perspective. So yes, I do think phase 2 has started, and from here Ethereum could stay outperforming Bitcoin, and we are about to see 3 to 4 months of insane price action. So it's going to be absolutely massive, and I do think next week could be very important to be another major bullish catalyst to drive the crypto market higher, because next week we are going to see the FOMC rate decision, we are going to see of course that press conference of Powell, and we have some other important US economic data coming in. So it's going to be an absolutely massive week, I do think. And if we take a look in towards Bitcoin here, performance after each FOMC meeting, we can see that like in this bull market, most of the times we see some very positive price action after those FOMC meetings, regardless the outcome. So I'm definitely quite excited about that, and if you take a look into our history, it could be likely that yes, Bitcoin will once again show some positive performance after that FOMC meeting. But like I stated, I do think it's Ethereum which is about to take the spotlights after also this new FOMC meeting. I think it's definitely showing a lot of strength. Of course, we could see still a little bit of downside before more upside, because I do think what a lot of people are forgetting is if you for example take a look into the first golden cross after those lows in 2020 here, you can see that it is not just one move higher, it's always coming in stages. You will see new moves to the downside also, then new big moves up. It's going to come in consolidation phases, breakout patterns. It isn't going to be one big move to the upside, so it's going to be very important to remember exactly that. But on that bigger perspective, I do think this is going to be a huge phase for altcoins also, so let's see about exactly that. And I do also think that Bitcoin is looking quite good here on that somewhat of a shorter term perspective on the daily time frame. That's something we've extensively talked about in the video yesterday about this bull flag pattern, and exactly what I do think it's about to happen here. Just in short, I do think this bull flag is about to break to the top side very soon once again, and then we could be looking towards a major breakout to for example $130,000, and then we would have to see how Ethereum is going to perform against Bitcoin there, and basically which asset is going to take the lead from there. I do think both scenarios are going to be very bullish for the market, of course, because yeah, maybe the Bitcoin dominance will go a little bit up once Bitcoin breaks out here. But on that longer perspective, it's still going to be very bullish for Ethereum and altcoins, I personally think. So yes, we also have a major breakout incoming for Bitcoin probably there. Also next week, the White House is going to release their first Bitcoin and crypto policy report exactly on the same day as the FOMC meeting. So definitely mark next to Wednesday in your agenda, because I do think that could be become a very volatile day for the markets basically. Also, we have to see if Bitcoin and Ethereum, how those ETF flows are going to perform, of course, next week, because lately Ethereum has been heavily outperforming Bitcoin if you take a look into our ETF flows. And definitely on the weekly perspective, you can see that this week through the Bitcoin ETF we saw $72 million of inflows, but the Ethereum ETF saw $1.85 billion in inflows. So yes, that is definitely a big difference here, and the Ethereum ETF is definitely heavily outperforming Bitcoin here, which is in my opinion of course very bullish for Ethereum ecosystem and altcoins. But yeah, let's see if that trend is going to continue next week. Also, that is going to be very important to see, going to be a huge opportunity there. And then I do want to discuss more Ethereum, because we did talk about this Ethereum versus Bitcoin golden cross, but the Ethereum price action on itself is also looking very bullish, even more bullish than Bitcoin in my opinion, because Ethereum has been holding up very strong against Bitcoin lately and is now in this range. But actually if we zoom in a little bit on that range, I do think Ethereum is actually on the verge of breaking out that range. Now maybe it's not even on the verge yet, but it's definitely trading in the top side outside of the range now. I do think once we're going to see the breakout here, you can see that move to 4,000 US dollars, basically at range high, and that would of course be extremely bullish for Ethereum. And that's also going to be my conservative case price targets, which we have been talking about, guys, on the channel all the way down here on this ultimate low, on this range low. We have been discussing this conservative case, and back then people were calling me crazy for this being my conservative case, 4,000 US dollars. So a lot of people were super bearish on Ethereum, and now people in the comments are calling me crazy because I will be taking profits on my Ethereum positions at 4,000 US dollars, and they're saying that I might be taking profits too soon, which might be the truth because I have been accumulating on this ultimate lows here. I have made over a 2x on my spot holdings once Ethereum is going to hit 4,000 US dollars, and I do think that's an absolutely insane return for Ethereum. And for me, if you take a look towards the risk reward, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be holding my Ethereum to, for example, this bull case of over 6,000 US dollars, because that isn't even a 2x from 4,000 US dollars. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for me. In that stage of the market, I'm going to get more interest into rotating some of the profits to altcoins. That's going to be my game plan, but of course it could differ on your stance on the market. If you are more bullish, you could be looking towards this bull case target for Ethereum, guys. And I definitely do think that bull case is possible, because if you take a look into towards the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart once again, we can see how much potential there's still left for Ethereum versus Bitcoin here. It's absolutely insane. We haven't even seen a lot here. There's still so much left for Ethereum, and I do think in this major next big move for Ethereum, the potential for altcoins is going to be absolutely massive, because altcoins are still lagging behind, guys. There's still so much potential here. Take a look into towards, for example, Bitcoin breaking towards new highs, and then the performance for altcoins usually after Bitcoin does so. In 2021, over 700% here, so basically in 7x, and here in 2017, plus 17,000% here. After basically the new Bitcoin all-time highs, breaking out this major cup pattern, we always see some insane returns for altcoins, so I don't think it will be any different this time. I do think altcoins will still have their moment to shine here, and I do think the most important thing also of this data is that always the performance of altcoins after the Bitcoin all-time high is going to be better than before, and that's actually not the case right now. So that's why I do think there's still like a 2x for the whole altcoin market in here, like conservatively saying, but I do think there's still a lot more in the tank, to be fair. But let's see about that. There's still a lot of potential left. And guys, that was it for today's update video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's update video, and I will see you guys within the next update video tomorrow.
Are you looking for exchange with zero fees over 3,000 plus trading pair with industrial leading liquidity proof of reserve that has 1:1 ratio with 24/7 online customer service support? Scan the QR code to easy to direct MEXC website and start your first trading. Thank you.
Trading is never as easy, but who say you can't have fun? In every minute you lend, the more you will enjoy. As you grow up in this industry, you will find yourself, and so round yourself with people who will help you to grow up as trader. It's hard in the first place, but I am sure you will be successful. As a trader, always remember trend is your friend.